What is that you express in your eyes? It seems to me more than all the prints I have read in my life. Walt Whitman. Hey guys, today's topic of the video is going to be about one of the most important and game-changing writer in American history, in history of American literature, Walt Whitman. But before starting, I will suggest you to subscribe to my channel so that you can get all the literary related videos. Also follow me on Instagram so that you can get all the literary updates from there. So starting with the introduction of Walt Whitman. Walt Whitman was a very great writer and editor of America. He had a very powerful thought about women empowerment, immigration, child labor, slavery, etc. And he spoke about the issues which no one wanted to touch. His greatest work ever was Leaves of Grass, and it broke the literary conventions and influenced the writers later in history. He also published his important work on Civil War drum taps. He is the writer who promoted free verse in his poetry. Moving towards the personal life and literary life of Walt Whitman, on May 31, 1819, Walt Whitman was born in New York. His mother was Louisa and father was Walter Whitman. Walt was the second of 8 children. His father was a farmer and a carpenter. On May 27, 1823, his family moved to Brooklyn from Long Island. From 1831 to 1836, young Walt left school to support his family financially. Walt later got a formal education in school. He was later hired as an office boy and then as a helper at a local newspaper office. In 1833, his family moved back to Long Island. Walt Whitman worked at many newspaper offices in Brooklyn, New York, and Long Island. From 1836 to 1841, Walt Whitman started teaching in a school on Long Island. From 1838 to 1839, he left teaching to publish a weekly newspaper, The Long Islander. From 1841 to 1845, Whitman turned to New York City to become a painter. So he also painted. He started publishing novels, poems, and fictions. In 1842, his novel Franklin Evans was appeared. He later talked about some societal issues and was opposed by society. He did work in Manhattan for next 4 years at different offices. From 1845 to 1848, Whitman moved back to Brooklyn and started writing for newspaper office there. From 1848 to 1849, Whitman edited the Brooklyn Weekly Freeman. The Weekly Freeman was the weekend edition of Freeman's Journal, which was a nationalist daily broadsheet published in Dublin from 1763 to 1924, when it was merged into the Irish independence. In the 1870s, the weekly began offering a large format political cartoon with each issue. So that was a short introduction of Weekly Freeman. From 1850 to 1854, Whitman started running a printing office by himself. On July 11th, 1855, Whitman's father, Walter Whitman, died. In 1860, Whitman visited Ralph Waldo Emerson. Emerson was also was also an American essayist, lecturer, philosopher, and abolitionist, and also a poet. And his name is very famous regarding transcendentalist movement of the mid 19th century. So Emerson is famous for his widely known man of letters in America. So he was a man of letters, and he has written prolific poetry, essays, lectures, and he advocated social reforms, and he was no doubt one of the most important icon regarding opposing race and slavery. On July 24th, 1865, Whitman got a job at the Department of the Interior. On June 30, 1865, Whitman was fired from his job at Interior. In 1871, Whitman published the 5th edition of Leaf of Grass. Leaf of Grass, I will be giving a short introduction of Leaf of Grass, which is written by Walt Whitman. And it was published in 1855, and it is a collection of loosely collected poems represent the celebration of his philosophy of life and humanity, and he praises the nature and individual human role in the nature. So and he also published Democratic Vistas. So let me give you a small introduction of Democratic Vistas written by Walt Whitman. It is about materialism, individualism, and literature, and it is a prose. It is a prose piece praises American material success and claims that the Industrial Revolution has wrought havoc on American culture and was destroyed during the Gilded Age. So, and Passage to India, yes, don't confuse it with E.M. Foster Passage to India novel. It is, but Walt Whitman's Passage to India is a book, and it's a collection of poems, not novel, and it is about Civil War poems, main selection from Leaf Grass and other collection. And this is Walt Whitman's most famous poem sequence, now back in print after many years. This title is cited and recommended by books for Google libraries. It's according to Wikipedia. Okay, so it is about this. So on January 23, 1873, Whitman suffered a stroke and his left side got affected. In 1875, a small stroke affected his right side body too. On 26th of March 1892, Whitman died and he was buried in New Jersey. Moving towards some important works of Walt Whitman, most important work and first novel was his published in 1842 was his novel Franklin Evans. In May 15, 1855, the first edition of Leaf of Grass was printed. In 1856, a second edition of Leaf of Grass was published. Third edition of Leaf of Grass was published in 1860. And Whitman also published Drum Traps in 1865. In 1867, Leaf of Grass's fourth edition was published. Two Rivulets was published in 1876. Leaf of Grass, another edition, which was his fifth edition, was published in 1881. November Balls was published in 1888. Leaf of Grass final edition, sixth edition, was published from 1891 to 1892. Let's move towards the literary style and themes used by Walt Whitman in his works, in his novel works. Whitman didn't use some unrestricted literary style in his poetry. His style lacks rhyme and strict meter. So he is an unconventional kind of poet. His poems contain extended lines. His writing contain a strong sense of optimism. Walt's works represent a transcendentalist concept which was come after him, and it is corresponded to romanticism in British literature. So he uses the concept of anaphora, repetition, reiteration. He was a master of using rich phrases and images in his works. His Leaf of Grass contains archaic language and colloquial expressions, and there is also a use of foreign language which is adding color and variety in his style. Moreover, he uses imageries and symbols in his poems. So thanks for watching. I hope you will like or dislike this video. Also comment on the comment box with further inquiry, and also subscribe to our channel. Thank you.